Hello, and welcome to the Kilimanjaro information session, where we will be telling you everything you need to know before signing up to take on the ultimate adventure of a lifetime. Just a couple of housekeeping. We are recording the session, but as we're using Zoom webinar, your names and your faces won't appear on the recording. We will also have a Q&A at the end of the session. So if you do have any questions, please pop those in that box whilst we're going along, and we can answer them at the end. And finally, by attending this session, you are unlocking a £100 discount for your registration fees. So to get this, you'll need to scan that QR code on the screen now, fill out your details, and we will email you the code to use. Fantastic. Well, starting with Kilimanjaro and the challenge itself, it is run by us, Dig Deep. We are a student-founded award-winning small charity made up of 20 staff members across Kenya and the UK and over 300 volunteers. And I'm going to introduce you only to the people you'll encounter throughout the year on that Kilimanjaro challenge. So everyone who I'm about to introduce you to has been where you are now. We all signed up to take part in this challenge as students with probably not much fundraising experience. So if you do have any concerns, we are dedicated to supporting you throughout that journey. And just to prove it, here we all are on the mountain. Starting with some people that aren't in the call with us today, Jazz, the challenge event manager, who first got involved with Dig Deep in 2020, whilst in her third year at Loughborough University. She signed up to take on Kili as a team leader and eventually summited in 2022 after the COVID travel restrictions were lifted. She then went on to be RAG chair for Loughborough, so she really does know fundraising and charity challenges like the back of her hand. And then there's Simon, who makes up for a big part of the team. He is our finance and operations director, which means he organises the logistical side of the challenge to ensure you have a safe and enjoyable time. He has summited Kilimanjaro twice, the first with Dig Deep as a student, and then again to propose to his wife, so really setting the standard there. We also have Kate, our dedicated fundraising support officer, who climbed in 2022 and has been the backbone of one-to-one calls, fundraising workshops, and developing resources for our participants ever since. And then there's me, the little icon in the bottom left, Sam. I am Sam. I joined in 2022 when I climbed with Dig Deep with the Loughborough team. Jazz was my wonderful team leader at that time. And I essentially offered my services when I got back to campus to help that next recruitment season. Landed a job through the university and through the charity itself. Now working full time in that recruitment side of things and support out in country in Tanzania when you go out on your climb. And I'll hand over to Jess to introduce herself too.
So hi, I'm Jess. I'm one of the challenge event reps alongside Lucy. I took on the challenge last summer with Team Manchester, and I loved it so much that I'm back to assist during the 2026 recruitment season. So all the photos you will see in this presentation were taken by Dig Deep climbers, so they are exactly what you can expect to experience next year and hopefully will get you really excited. If you weren't aware already, Kilimanjaro is the tallest freestanding mountain in the world with a peak just under 6,000 meters above sea level, and you could be standing at its peak next summer. It is the tallest peak in Africa, earning it the nickname the Roof of Africa. On our treks, we use the Machame route, which takes 6 days to complete, 4.5 days up and 1.5 days down. Along the route, we go through diverse landscapes and ecological zones where you can find lots of native flowers, which can only be found on the mountain, and you may even see monkeys in the trees above. I remember on my final day climbing down the mountain, we stopped for like 20 minutes just to watch a monkey swing in the trees above us, and it was such an amazing way to finish the climb. Every day on the mountain is completely unique. After the rainforest, in just a few hours into day 2, you'll already be above the clouds. I have so many videos on my camera from opening the tent to just the most incredible sunrise and a sea of clouds in front of me. It really is completely surreal. At the end of each day, you'll arrive at your campsite where your bags and tents will be waiting for you. The porters walk ahead, carrying your main bag and any equipment needed to get you to the top. This also includes a kitchen and a team tent, where you'll get 3 freshly cooked meals a day. And it may surprise you, but the food that the crew can provide on the mountain is incredible. They can cater for whatever dietary requirements you might have, and they ensure that you're getting enough food to fuel your body to the summit. They truly look out for each and every one of you on the mountain to make sure you're safe and healthy. So this is my team in the top right. We brought out all the chairs from the team tent to watch the sunset one evening, and this is one of my favorite memories from the climb.
Very wholesome.
It was. As you can see, the sunsets you'll experience at camp are beautiful and get better and better as the days go on. The only thing that rivals them are the incredible nighttime views. The sky is so clear and unpolluted that you're guaranteed an amazing view of the stars and the Milky Way. As well as the night sky, you will also get to see the lights of Moshi below, which remind you of how far you've come. These photos look good, but truly they don't do it justice, and the in-person views of the stars are really unbelievable. I vividly remember walking out of the tent after dinner to a sea of the most incredible stars, and we just sat outside for hours as a team, just completely blown away. Aside from the scenery, we choose to use this route because it gives you a chance to acclimatise as you go. So the route follows a principle of climb high and sleep low. For example, on day 3, you will climb up to Lava Tower, which you can see here, for lunch, before descending to Barranco Camp, and this prepares your body for the summit and means our success rate for the climb is above 90%. It also means you get to tackle Barranco Wall, which is definitely a favourite amongst climbers. The wall involves a bit of scrambling, which is a lot of fun, and when you reach the top, it really does feel like you're on top of the world. This is an amazing time to take photos and just get really excited about getting closer and closer to the summit. So summit night is extra special. You start your hike at night, but the feeling of excitement is really at its peak and everyone pulls together, creating a true team atmosphere. You'll have the brilliant night sky, so you can see all the head torches above and below you climbing up the mountain. I remember seeing the stream of people going all the way up as we started the climb to the summit, and it was really exciting, a little daunting, but really cool. About 6 hours into the climb, and just before you reach the summit, the sun will rise, giving you some warmth and a final bit of motivation to make your way through the glacial zone all the way to Uhuru Peak. I don't think I can explain the emotions you'll feel at this part of the climb. I remember being at a point near where this photo is taken on the right, and I could see the summit sign just in the distance, and it was such a surreal feeling, and you had people who had just reached the summit coming in the opposite direction, and they were cheering everyone on, and the atmosphere was just really incredible. Climbing Kilimanjaro may be one of the most challenging things you'll ever do. The altitude makes it tough and can leave you short of breath or even exhausted. But every single person listening today can reach the peak. You do not have to be an athlete or an experienced hiker. All you need is the belief that you can do it and you will make it to the top. So much of it truly comes down to how much you can push yourself and your mental resilience. To help you though, on summit night, we have a 1-to-1 crew to climber ratio, which means you'll have that extra bit of support at the most challenging stage of the climb. And it's this that plays a huge part in our groups achieving a greater than 90% success rate of getting to the peak. So after 4 days on the mountain, this will be you. The feeling when you reach the summit is really like no other. Elation, euphoria, relief, exhaustion, joy, just all rolled into one. And the camaraderie you feel from reaching the summit as a team is really the best part. And you will be celebrating at the top with a new team of best friends. In my group, we were really close at this point, and this really helped to get each other through some tough moments. And at the top, we shared a lot of hugs and happy tears. You truly will leave the mountain with such strong bonds to your teammates. And you'll also build friendships and great relationships with the crew who helped you get there too. Like I said earlier, it's really the crew that play the biggest part in our success rate on the mountain.
After you've climbed, you don't have to end your East African adventure there. Our experienced local suppliers offer a couple of amazing value extension packages, so you can see more of what Tanzania has to offer. Our climbers have been going on these packages since 2015, and they're exactly what you need, I think, after taking on the challenge. and complete your trip. The most popular extension includes a 2 epic day safari in the Tarangire National Park, followed by 5 days relaxing in an idyllic resort in the island paradise of Zanzibar. So the photos that you saw there on the screen were taken by our fundraisers, and I think really do show off the diversity of wildlife that you could be getting a close-up view to. And here are some of the photos taken in Zanzibar, where you stay at the beautiful Palumbo Reef Resort. It's a beachside 4-star full-board hotel that offers excursions to see more of the island as well. So some of our 2024 climbers even chose to go on a skydive, landing on one of the perfect white sandy beaches of the island. As if climbing Kili wasn't enough, they wanted that little bit more there. So these are the dates of the trips that we have planned so far. So we've added a couple of extra dates there, especially because of the amount of people that are registering interest and signing up. Our trips always take place annually in August, as this is the best time in terms of being in the warm and dry season in Tanzania, as well as fitting well into university times and giving you as long as possible to fundraise. We will confirm which date you and your team will be placed on in early December, so after the deadline to sign up to the challenge, but you'll get these along with everything you would need to know to start making arrangements. So things like flight recommendations will be sent to you at this time too. If you are looking at these dates and thinking, there's already, it's clashing with something you have planned, perhaps an internship or a placement, all you need to do is drop us an email and state which dates you need to avoid, and we will organise this in-house, making sure that you're on the dates that are best for you. And these dates are the climb. So although the brackets on the screen are about 5 days long, the whole trip is actually a minimum of 10 days, including travel to and from your departure airports. So that gives you some time in Moshi to prepare for the climb and make the most of the optional day excursions too.
So by choosing to climb Kili with us, though, it truly is more than just a climb. We know that it's the incredible local ground staff that make your time on Kilimanjaro what it is, and we're very proud to have been working with our 2 amazing climb suppliers, African Scenic Safaris and Trek to Kili, for the past 7 years. Both of these companies are ranked in the top 10 Kilimanjaro crews on TripAdvisor.
Just a side note, Jess, that's actually Michael, my one-to-one guide that I've just noticed there from the time as well. Insane. Perhaps one of the loveliest men. I didn't speak too much Swahili and he didn't speak too much English, but we were laughing the entire time on the way down, especially because he made me ski, I think only for his own amusement, really, to laugh at me as I was falling over on the way down from the summit. But yeah, there we go. What a throwback.
A cameo.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, there is a known history of exploitation of mountain crews, but we are committed to ensuring that nobody is adversely affected by our challenges. And the approach we've taken has led us to be recognised as a partner for responsible travel by KPAP, who are a Tanzanian organisation who fight for the fair and ethical treatment of mountain crews. We are currently the only UK charity to receive this status, and it is something we take really seriously. Both Trek to Kili and African Scenic Safaris also have this status. Ultimately, we believe that this is reflected in your experience on the mountain, because for the crew to be able to look after you and give you the best time, they first need to be looked after themselves. And of course, there is a huge personal development when taking on this challenge. It will definitely help to support your career progression and employability, as it demonstrates a huge variety of qualities from resilience to cooperation and teamwork. The skills you acquire from the challenge are applicable to so many scenarios. And speaking from experience, I've just graduated from the University of Manchester, and having the climb on my CV has been something really interesting and unique to talk about in interviews, and can always be applied to questions when employers ask about times when I've been a part of a team or had to push through a challenge as well. So our team, stretching back as far as 10 years, still meet up, as it really is a family that you find yourself in. I would say from my own trip, we had climbers going into their first year of university and then ones who had just recently graduated. But for everyone, it was such an amazing way to meet like-minded people, and we might never have met each other if it wasn't for this opportunity. It's such a short trip, but you grow together as a team so quickly because of this shared experience. And of course, you're ticking off that bucket list experience, and it is something most people can really only dream of.
Thirdly, the reason why we do it. Dig Deep is first and foremost a charity, and through fundraising for this challenge, you will make our work possible. By reaching the summit of Kili, you will transform the lives of thousands of people in East Africa. So we organise these challenges in-house, cutting out any UK middlemen in order to maximise the funds that we can raise towards our charitable objectives. This means that the fundraising you do will have a huge, direct and lasting impact. At Dig Deep, we believe that everyone has the fundamental right to the access of these three things: clean water, safe toilets, and good hygiene education. In the UK, these things are so normal. You probably turned the tap on this morning without even thinking about it. But in the areas that we work, that's not the reality. We were founded in 2007 by two students, Joe and Pete, in collaboration with Kenyan women's rights activist and UN Person of the Year, Agnes Pereiro. Agnes helped Joe and Pete to establish strong local working relationships, which resulted in the charity's first two water projects. Since then, we have continued to collaborate with the Kenyan government, local businesses, and communities to transform the provision of these services. At any given time, half of the world's hospital beds are occupied by patients suffering from a water-related disease. So the time lost to sickness means that every year 443 million school days are missed and over 200 billion is wiped from the global economy. And this doesn't even account for the time lost due to inadequate provisions for the safe management of menstrual hygiene. As you can see on the screen there, where we work, 2 out of 3 people don't have access to clean water, over half don't have safe toilets, and children don't have access to basic hygiene education. Through helping children and their families to realise their right to these things, your support will save lives, improve education, and give back time to women and girls who are disproportionately affected by the water crisis. Spend more time learning and more time growing their business. So our work consists of building large-scale water systems, including rainwater harvesting and spring protection projects, building safe toilets at schools, and training households to construct their own latrines. We also deliver vital hygiene education, as you can see there, and training through community health volunteers in the area. And these are all great, practical, immediate solutions. However, we also work in the long term. We have developed strong partnerships that ensure that the services we're investing in now are maintained and improved for generations to come. So even if we were no longer around to offer our support, we invest in the local people, as we know that universal access to water, sanitation, and hygiene will only be achieved if the local community are driving that process. So it is the local government, the local businesses, and the local communities who will overcome the crisis. With our support, really there to drastically speed this up. So the impact on this work, I think, is life-changing. So here you can see Sarah, a committee member for one of our spring protection projects. So before we started working in her area, she sometimes queued overnight to get water, and that wasn't even safe to drink. Now she and her community have clean, reliable water close to home. So far, Dig Deep has reached 250,000 people. By 2036, we're aiming for 1 million, and that's only going to happen if more people like you decide to take on something big, something daring, something bold, like Kilimanjaro. And the most exciting part about this is that you can play a huge part in achieving our goals. To put into perspective, just £15 is enough to give one person clean drinking water for life. So your fundraising will result in literally hundreds of lives changed. When you climb Kilimanjaro with us, you're not just doing it for the adventure, you're part of a movement that's removing one of the biggest barriers to health, to education, and to opportunity for thousands of people permanently.
So you're probably wondering what the costs are involved in taking on this challenge. So to secure your place on the challenge, you'll need to pay a registration fee, which is split into 2 installments of 145 when you first sign up, and then 250 by the end of January next year. So the second installment can be discounted. So for just attending tonight, you'll get access to that £100 discount off this second installment. And you'll also have the opportunity to refer some friends, and for each friend that signs up, you will each receive an additional £50 discount off this second installment. So with these in mind, if you use your info session discount code and then refer 3 friends, this second registration fee can be reduced to 0. We also have a 14-day cooling off period, which allows you to get a full refund on your registration fee if you change your mind within 2 weeks of signing up. So the final fundraising target is £2,990, which is split equally between covering your climb costs and then a charity donation directly to Dig Deep. So this amount will be due approximately 2 months before you set off on your climb. So this can be a daunting number. However, you will not be left alone to fundraise this money, and we have an amazing fundraising support network at Dig Deep. So please don't let this amount put you off. I remember finding this number quite scary when I first signed up, but it's completely possible to fundraise 100% of this target. It's all about finding creative ways to tap into your network through social media, clubs, or societies at uni. You'll also be a part of your university team, and there'll be lots of fundraising opportunities as a group. We'll be chatting more about fundraising later in this presentation. So included in your fundraising target is a charity donation towards our initiatives in East Africa. The other 50% covers your climb costs, so all the support staff that will help you up the mountain, including drivers, guides, porters, and cooks. You'll also have a UK qualified medic with your climb group. Your fees will also cover entrance to the national park, food and water, as well as your tent and sleeping mat. A kit hire service is also available for any climbing equipment you don't want to buy for the climb. So this can include anything from your sleeping bag up to hiking trousers and coats. All in-country transfers and travel will be covered as well as your full board accommodation before and after the challenge in Moshi. So while you're on the mountain, Dig Deep support staff will stay in Moshi as well as a UK doctor to provide any support you might need. And prior to even leaving to Tanzania, your climb costs also go towards pre-departure and fundraising support by the Dig Deep staff. So there are a few additional costs just to make you aware of. We do work with trail finders who can offer some great deals and recommendations on your flights and travel insurance. A visa for a UK passport holder will cost $50, and we will help you through the application process for this. There may also be some vaccinations you might need, depending on what previous travel you've done, which can be discussed with your local GP. Personally, I didn't need any that weren't available through the NHS, so this might not necessarily be an additional cost. The extension packages discussed earlier are also an optional cost, but there are a range of packages available, so you can find one that will hopefully suit you. And as we mentioned earlier too, we completely understand that at times things can change unexpectedly over the year, so we try to ensure as much flexibility as possible in our challenges. On top of that 14-day cooling off period, we also offer a very comprehensive deferral policy, so anyone who registers will be able to push their challenge back to the following year for any reason with no charge, as long as you request this before the final fundraising deadline. This means you will not be left out of pocket if things don't work out in 2026. So what we'll do is support you to reach 50% of your fundraising for the 2026 fundraising deadline, and then you can simply carry on fundraising the rest until the new 2027 fundraising deadline.
So on to fundraising support, as Jess teased earlier. At Dig Deep, we've not just won awards for our charitable work, but also for the support we offer to our fundraisers. We've won the National Student Fundraising Association's Charity of the Year Award, whoop whoop. I know I've wowed a lot of you in the room for that, because our support goes above and beyond ensuring that you can reach your target. So it is, as Jess was saying, and as I was, natural to be a little apprehensive about fundraising the £2,990 target. When I told my parents I was signing up, they definitely had some concerns about whether I'd be able to do it, especially as I was signing up with my sister too. But trust us, fundraising can and should be a lot of fun, and you shouldn't have to pay a penny of this yourself if you don't want to. And we don't just sit back and let you figure it out all by yourself either. We are here to support you every step of the way. As you can see from the feedback we've received, only 8% of climbers had regularly fundraised before taking on Kili. So you are rowing in the boat with many if that is you. But with our support, coaching and resources, they were confidently able to fundraise towards their target, with that 66% that you can see at the bottom there, even wanting to carry on with their fundraising on another challenge. So we pride ourselves on our individualized approach. We offer a lot of one-to-one support to figure out what's going to work for you. We offer everyone the opportunity to book in a meeting with our dedicated fundraising officer when you sign up, and we can check in with you as often as you find helpful to get you to the goal. This can be mapping out long-term plans, figure out what networks you can tap into, or just a general chat about fundraising. Each month we have a schedule of support too that includes a newsletter filled with ideas and dates for your diary. Our social media channels explore these ideas in more detail and are open for you to ask questions and promote your fundraising. Not only will you have access to our knowledge and expertise, as well as your campus team leaders too, but you will also be joining the network of over 2,000 people who have taken on the challenge with us before. We use our fundraisers, both past and present, to share ideas through our blog and social media to help give you that motivation and inspiration. Our monthly blog, Confessions of a Fundraiser, is full of reflection and top tips about successful fundraising ways to help you breeze through the year. Finally, you will also have access to our extensive fundraising resources and events. We can send out all of the equipment you need to succeed, buckets, t-shirts, as well as offering the opportunity to get involved in other events to help you reach your target. So whether it's a 10K, a half marathon, a national or international marathon, a skydive, or even a Team Tough Mudder, our events are exclusively available to you. So this is a great way to incorporate other events, get that full fundraising experience, and boost your target towards that same pot. And just to show you a little bit about how we do it too. So starting with Kate, she took on a lot of street collections with her team. She organised a Christmas market at her university, and she also ran art workshops. She's a very artsy person. On Jazz's front, she was doing 5 charity challenges when she was at university. So she really had to diversify the way that she was fundraising itself. So again, also sharing on social media, collections at local supermarkets. And I think my favorite one there is a 100-kilometer run in a month. So really stretching out a little bit of training as well. For Simon, he went down a slightly different route. So he did large-scale sporting events. So it only took 2 football tournaments and 1 mixed netball tournament before he smashed his target. In my case, I worked at a local pub when I was at university, so I used that to do weekly pub quizzes, and I also went to my primary school to do some hosted events there as well. So really it is, I think, a case of no one way to do it, no right way to do it. It is subjective to you. It's subjective to, as Jess was saying, what your interests are, what your hobbies are, and we help amplify that into an event or an activity so that you can actually put the fun into fundraising, as cheesy as it sounds. I don't know what you did, Jess.
So yeah, for mine, I ran the Manchester 10K, and then as you were saying with the hobbies as well, I was in the dance society while I was in university, so I really used that. So I hosted a charity walk with them, and then as the others as well, I posted mine on social media, which I found was a great way to get those extra donations in. The most effective I found was LinkedIn. I was able to get some people I didn't even really know personally to donate to my page. So I think social media is a great way to get started as well when you first sign up.
I think we could sit here for ages and talk about our experience. It is definitely a case of becoming a part of your personality once you have climbed. Don't worry if you're not hearing any sound. This is just a bit of a teaser for some of the videos that are on our Instagram. So if you do want to hear from the participants themselves, head on over and listen to some of the feedback that they've given. This was filmed this year, literally a couple of weeks ago from when I came back from Tanzania. So you can see, I think actually just first and foremost, the smiles, the sort of joy and happiness of finding friends and having a great time whilst doing it and reflecting on their experience there and then. You can see there's just a lot of laughs along the way. But to pull your attention more so towards the feedback as well, it's just really important to note how happy the people that have done our climbs have found the climb itself, in terms of our pre-support before the climb, all of them being well above 90% there. So yeah, it's a really, I think, wonderful way to Get involved in your local community and get involved in what's happening at university too. So after hearing all of that, all that's left to do is to get yourself signed up. So if you didn't get a chance to scan the discount QR code earlier, here it is again. You'll receive the code by email, and that will be valid for 48 hours after the session. And then the next QR code will take you to our website where you can look through all of the information again and find the link to sign up. Remember that that code is valid for 48 hours, so you've got a bit of time to ask any last questions as well. Our inbox is always open, so you can see there, you can email support@digdeep.org.uk or message us on Instagram and you can get a quick response there. Alternatively, I've seen already there's a few questions coming into the Q&A box, so please do stick around if you've got some questions now. I think that's all that's left to say is before we do get into those questions, thank you so very much for joining us tonight and putting some time aside in your evening to find out about what I often call at Fresh Affair Stores the trip of a lifetime. And I truly do mean that. Even though I climbed 3 years ago, it's still stuck with me quite a bit. And I had the privilege and the pleasure of going out to Kenya this year just to see the projects before heading to Tanzania. And I can truly say that the people that are out there are the most wonderful people that you could ever think about meeting. And they are so very grateful for the work that's being done by Dig Deep. They were so grateful for the visit. You can see some of the content on our Instagram from that. And I think it was truly touching to see it from the other side. I definitely climbed Kilimanjaro because I wanted to climb Kilimanjaro and the hype around that. But I think what made it all the more special on this side of the fence was seeing how much of an impact each and every one of you can make by joining this challenge. So thank you very much for the time that you've given us this evening. We'll get to the Q&A box now. I've had one question come in about having friends or family members that aren't based at your university, whether they can climb with you. That is definitely the case. This climb is open to anyone and everyone. So if you have got friends or family members that are outside of university or around the UK, they can still climb with your team and they'll still climb with you, but we might put them in touch with the closest team to them if they do want to get involved in any co-fundraising or socials. But it is open to international students as well, so anyone and everyone is welcome. You just need to be 18 by the time of the climb, so that's the only thing to note down there.
So, second question, is it conducive for complete beginners? So, you don't need any technical climbing experience. You don't need to be an expert hiker. Before I went out there, I'd done a few hikes before, and that's what we recommend just so you get comfortable with hiking. But as I said in the presentation, it is more of a mental challenge. We say it's how much you can push yourself, and it is that stamina because the route we take is quite gradual until summit night.
Fantastic. The next question is really good, and I think a lot of people have this question beforehand, and it's essentially about altitude sickness. So first and foremost, we do have the provision for oxygen tanks, as they've asked in this question, that do get taken up as a safety precaution. To let you know that all of the guides, they call this mountain their office. They are up and down Monday to Friday. They sometimes do back-to-back groups, so you'll see them come down from a climb group and celebrate with them, and the next day they'll be up with another climb group. So in terms of their knowledge and expertise on the mountain, it is absolutely bulletproof from their side. So they are first aid trained as mountain guides, but we also have a UK medic that's essentially an expedition medic that joins you every step of the way, so all the way up and all the way down. And we have a base medic in Moshi too, and those are just there as well for monitoring purposes and to make sure that everything is all okay on the mountain itself. So you have medical checks that are done every evening, and they sort of talk to you about your experience. So in terms of altitude sickness, it is something that a lot of people ask about. The profile of this mountain does go quite high, but it is manageable in terms of the acclimatization process of the Machame route, and it's something that all of the guides and the medics will monitor in the group itself. The best thing for altitude sickness is to take it slow or to stay at the level that you are or go down. So in terms of those sorts of things, they always have that observation with you on the mountain itself. A lot of people do have, sort of headaches. This is obviously a very challenging mountain to climb in a rewarding way, in that, as Jess was speaking about, for summit night, you do have that sort of cycle of people having headaches and stuff like that, but the medics are there for that safety.
So then we have a question just about fees. So I'll just run through those again. So you obviously have the initial registration fee, which is split into the 145 and 250. So this will come off your final fundraising target. So this goes towards that £2,990. Then once you've reached, so that £2,990 is your climb costs and your charity donation. What's not included in that is your flights and travel insurance. So those are on top of that final fundraising target. If that's something that is a problem for you or you're concerned about that cost, you can look into grants through the university. A lot of the times universities do provide students with the opportunity to get some grants towards any charity events, which this would count towards. Hopefully that answers your question. If there is so if you don't reach your fundraising goal, you obviously have the option to defer to the following year, which some people do to give them some extra time to fundraise that goal, or you can self-fund the rest that you are unable to fundraise.
I'm going to fly by a few of these. In terms of how do you refer people, it's a very simple process. You just put the name of the person that you're signing up with on the sign up form, and they'll put your name. For those that perhaps might be signing up, a little bit later than you are, that's something where you can always get in touch with us. As we organise these trips in-house, we're able to tie those referrals together as well. So even if you've forgotten to put their name, for example, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, that's how you refer people. In terms of the visa, it is most certainly not complicated at all to get. We essentially send you the link to the official website where you will apply for that, and it comes back within 10 days. So it's something that we sort of reserve for much later down the line, after that fundraising side of things, where people will start to prepare for the climb on the logistical front. So a very simple process on that front.
So my university was not mentioned on the sign-up form, how the climb group's formed. So if your university is not mentioned on the selection, you can create your own or send us an email, and we can make sure that your university is on there. Most universities we have a team for, but we can always put you with another team. So I remember I climbed with Team Manchester, and we had a girl from Aberdeen who climbed with us. So you can always be tagged on to another team if we don't have a full team with your university.
You can always drop the name of the university that you do have in the chat box. We sometimes just have people where it might not actually show up on the form their particular university. But as Jess said, we also do put you in contact with the closest team as well. So in that case, for the girl that was climbing from Aberdeen, she was able to join the socials and co-fundraising for the Scotland-based universities around her. In terms of how flexible the dates are for Dig Deep in terms of before and after the hike, if you have got work, for example, placements, internships, pre-book holidays, for example, all you need to do is let us know the dates that you can't make, and we'll just pop you very easily on the climb dates that are suited to you. Like I said, as we all organise these trips in-house, we're able to be very flexible in terms of the dates that are most appropriate for you. If that's not in time for when your climb group particularly will be climbing, like Jess said, you'll sort of just climb with another group on those dates, and we'll put you in contact with them in due course for you to get to know them too.
So this is a question on how they can use the info session discount code if they've already signed up last month. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but if you just send us an email with the discount code that you could get from this info session, we can tack that on and take the £100 off, even if you've already signed up.
Absolutely. In terms of the maximum team, I love that question. Is there a team max number? How many people can sign up for the same university team? The simple answer is there is no maximum. In terms of the climb groups themselves, the maximum amount of people that are allowed to climb in each group is 25. So that's only because they get assigned a certain amount of guides and support crew, porters, cooks, medical porters as well. But in terms of the actual university team, we've had teams of over 60. Last year we had a couple of teams that were over 60, a couple of teams over 50. And the way that that works is those will just get broken down into smaller teams, and you can just sort of request what teams you want to be in. You know, if you've got friends that are joining you on that team, you would prefer to be with them, then again, that's how we organise those quite flexibly for you.
So these two are quite similar. So how much equipment is provided on the hike, and then do you only carry a small bag? So you'll be provided with your tent, sleeping mat, all your kitchen equipment as well, and then food and water, as I mentioned. You will be climbing with porters, which will carry majority of this. You'll be carrying a smaller bag with all your clothes and your water in as well. And then we also have that kit hire service I did mention before. So if there's anything that you don't want to buy or you don't have, you can hire that out. And then when you get out to Tanzania, we can give that to you as well.
This is a really good question. I'm just going to deal with the one just below it very simply. You paid the early bird registration fee a while ago. The £100 discount goes towards that second 250 remaining fee in January. So that will now be 150 for you. It is that second instalment that the information session goes towards there. So that's absolutely fine. Really good question here. Is anything we raise above the target goal go to the charity as well? Or are we also welcome to fundraise for our plane tickets? Now, what I would say to that is anything that is fundraised above that page that's already set up for you by Dig Deep will go as a donation to the charity. What we do have, that's anything above the target. What we do have, and we've had participants do this in the past, in order to sort of maximize their own fundraising, is for personal costs as well. You can do that, but you would have to set up a separate GoFundMe page, for example, through another company, another supplier, another platform. GoFundMe obviously being one of those ones. You just have to stipulate that, of course, the fundraising is going for your personal costs and not towards the charity. So we have had people fundraise completely, but that's where you need to stipulate. Obviously, that's a separate fundraising page that you've set up yourself compared to the one that you get given by Dig Deep.
So 2 questions here, one on resharing the QR code for the discount, and then one just saying they joined late. So you will receive an email after this session with that discount code, as well as a recording of the session, so you can rewatch anything that you missed.
This is a really good question as well. How much opportunity is there to co-fundraise? Could I reach the target through co-funding alone? We have had participants do that in the past. It is really a case of the team leader and the team at the university or in the area that organises those co-fundraising opportunities. So we run our own campaigns too, but we also encourage very strongly that people meet at socials. You'll tend to find that people in the team will likely have similar interests, similar hobbies, and you'll start to plan from there. But we tend to find that a lot of teams organically continue to fundraise together. You know, it's always great to have a few more helping hands at events or activities. We tend to find that the more north you go, the more Kayleys there are. That across the UK, there's lots of sporting events, that lots of universities, there are bake sales and things like that where people can get involved together. But it is really something that we strongly encourage and something I think that happens naturally as well. So a lot of people do sort of find it easier to work together.
So 2 questions about deadlines. So the sign-up deadline for the challenge is the end of November, beginning of December. But we do recommend that if you're keen on taking on the challenge, to sign up as soon as possible, because it gives you more time to fundraise. And then dates for paying the installments of those fees I was mentioning. So the first installment of the sign-up fee is due as soon as you sign up. And then the second installment is January next year. And then the final fundraising target is June next year. So a couple months before you set off for the climb.
A really good question as well. How long does it take to train for this? What if you have never hiked before? Weekly, how much practice would it take in a week? I love that. There's like 3 questions in one. You've covered all the bases there. In terms of training, we really do recommend that you do train. As we said, it's a very accessible mountain. You don't need any prior technical experience. You don't need any prior hiking experience. But we do recommend that you get out and about with a weighted rucksack and with walking boots. We tend to find that a lot of teams do socials like that anyway, but I would recommend definitely training. In terms of weekly, I think me and my sister promised that we do 3 to 4 sessions a week in preparation for this, at least 4 months before. We did fail to do that. But like I said, it is a very accessible mountain. We just strongly recommend that a lot of people do train for it. I'd recommend probably a little bit of mix of not only getting out and about and walking, but obviously also some weight training, particularly on the lower back and the legs as well, where most of your power is going to be sort of used on the mountain itself. But we do offer that training advice and that guidance a little bit later into the season, after you've started to fundraise and to get that sort of ball rolling on preparing for the climb itself. So, yeah. It's been answered about the fundraising deadline. Do you recommend anything to bring, or is most things provided for when you're there? So as Jess was saying, I don't know whether you could go back actually to the what's included in your climb costs in country fees. So things like after booking the recommended flights, we do have the transport from the airport to the accommodation. The accommodation is sorted. The food, the water, the tents, the sleeping mats are all provided for you. It's really just your personal kit. In terms of the kit hire service and the kit list that we put out, that's where you'll sort of find a breakdown of everything that you will need on the mountain. The one thing, and I've identified this as a question and a room for me to talk about my own experience. Snacks is a big one. I recommend bringing snacks that aren't protein based solely, that aren't energy based solely. There's not enough gels in the world that would have helped me as much as that packet of bourbons did. So bring sort of those snacks that you enjoy, potentially on a down day, so that you can bring those to the top of the mountain and enjoy them there and then. We do tend to find that the people that bring those snacks often have a lot of time, a lot of fun sort of trading, with the guys and with the other people in their team. So yeah, I recommend snacks.
Yeah, fizzy sweets were my absolute saving grace. I've never seen someone so desperate for like a gummy worm on my team, but yeah, snacks are a good one.
We've had a couple of questions about personal medical conditions. We do have people in the past, we've had participants with disabilities climb and with conditions climb. What we always say is most definitely speak to a GP, to a health professional about it, just so that they can give you the right guidance, potentially on things measurements you might need to put in place prior to the climb. But like I said, it is a very accessible mountain, and we have had people beforehand with disabilities and conditions specific to them climb and have a fantastic time whilst doing so. So please do make sure that you do your own research, but also prerogative, speak to a health professional and a GP about that, so that you can have clarity on that situation. Fantastic. I think those have been all of the questions that have come through so far. We've still got most of you in here that have stayed for the Q&A, which is lovely. I think a lot of people end up finding that the questions they wanted to ask have already been asked as well. There is absolutely no silly question when it comes to Kilimanjaro. But they've been fantastic questions, actually. Informative, intelligent ones that required us to both think a lot. But as I can see some of the numbers dropping, again, thank you so much for joining tonight. It's been lovely to speak about this challenge from a personal standpoint, but also as an opportunity for all of you to join. I think it's a wonderful thing that a lot of people take with both hands and they never regret doing so. And I think Jess is nodding in agreement there with me. But thank you very much. We'll end the session there. And we've got a lot of thank yous coming through too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. Have a lovely evening. Bye bye.